So I thought Joe Biden, if I'm not mistaken, campaigned upon rejoining the Iran nuclear deal, or the, was it JCPOA, I believe is the acronym. Yes. Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPO, aka the Iran nuclear deal. But let's listen to Biden's Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, here. It looks like the U.S. isn't really planning on doing that unless Iran further capitulates. And again, it needs to be pointed out, when the United States unilaterally withdrew from the Iranian nuclear deal under the Trump administration, Iran, I should say, I keep saying Iran, but it's Iran, was in full compliance. Full compliance. What is it? The IEA, who was the international body monitoring that they were in compliance, had all these reports saying Iran was doing everything that they should have been under the particulars of the Iranian nuclear deal agreement. And then Trump unilaterally pulled out, and now the U.S. under the Biden administration is telling Iran, no, you actually need to go back to where you were in that deal when we unilaterally broke the deal, but you were in complete compliance at the time, and we fucked up. That's our bad, but we need you to capitulate and act like we weren't the fucking assholes here. So that's basically what's happening, and it's pretty disgusting, frankly. But
very clear in saying that if
if
Iran comes back into full compliance with its
look at that,
obligations under
if it's so fucking ridiculous. I mean, what is Blinken and the Biden administration, are they trying to start what Trump wasn't able to with his in a war with Iran? I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. No, you get back into it and then you work with Iran to get them back to that level. You need to show some fucking good faith. They were in compliance. They were following the deal. The U.S. pulled out of it.
the CPOA. The United States would do the same thing. And then we would use that as a platform to build with our allies and partners what we call the longer.
Yeah, I heard enough of that piece of shit. President Joe Biden's admin is rejecting an Iranian offer to coordinate both countries' return to their nuclear deal commitments, arguing that the Islamic Republic must first reinstate the restrictions suspended in response to the U.S. having abandoned the agreement entirely nearly 3 years ago. And again, needs to be pointed out repeatedly, Iran was in complete compliance of the JCPOA when the U.S. unilaterally broke that agreement and pulled out of it. It also includes China, France, Germany, Russia, and the UK. Trump left it in 2018, facing severe U.S. sanctions. Iran has been enriching uranium beyond designated cap, something the Biden administration says is blocking U.S. return to the deal. Again, the U.S. needs to be the one tucking their tail between their legs and going to Iran with hat in hand, saying we fucked up. Let's rejoin it now. And yeah, you're maybe a little bit over the limits now, but that's our fucking fault. You were following the deal. That's our bad. It's our bad. That's what they need to be doing. Full compliance, fucking war hawks. We are a long way from that. Tehran has vowed to reinstate these limits, which Iranian officials argue were taken within the framework of the deal's dispute clause, but only if Washington, as the party who first walked away, adheres to its obligations. In an interview with CNN Monday, Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Zarif proposed a different approach, one in which both countries would synchronize their JCPOA related moves under the supervision of the EU. I mean, that seems pretty fucking reasonable by solution from Iran there, doesn't it? None of this fucking bullshit, highfalutin, cantankerous, aggressive rhetoric and talk from the U.S. State Department. You got to go exactly back to that, and then we can talk once you do that, even though we broke the fucking rules. The top Iranian diplomat said that in his role as JCPOA commissioner, EU and Foreign Affairs High Rep Josep Borrell could choreograph the actions that are needed to be taken by the U.S. and the actions that are needed to be taken by Iran. That seems pretty fucking real. I have this third-party arbiter. I mean, but the U.S. will say, no, we can't even discuss that until they're back at full compliance. Zarif suggested that this is the best way forward. Clearly, actions that Iran takes have always been monitored and certified by the IAEA, the International Association of International Atomic Energy Agency. There you go. And we have shown that we will fulfill our promises, Zarif said. The side that has not been able to fulfill its promises has been the U.S. Yes, exactly. Zarif is 100% correct there, as I've been saying. And as I said, the U.S. has to prove its bona fides. We've certainly already proven our bona fides, aka that they're going to follow through with the agreement, you know. He repeated his offer to pave a way toward resolving the dispute. If we are away from the strict limitations of the nuclear agreement, it's because the U.S. tried to impose a full economic war on Iran. You can't argue with him. Those the sanctions that the U.S. put on Iran under Trump were nothing short of war crimes, like siege warfare, modern day siege warfare. It's disgusting. Now, if it stops that, we'll go back into full compliance. That's pretty fucking reasonable. You take off these hugely disastrous, illegal sanctions that are, considered a war crime because they disproportionately target the most vulnerable and marginalized, and the poor and the oppressed and the working class are feeling the brunt of those sanctions, not the elite of the country. It's always going to be the people that are hurt from the most by it are going to be the ones who are affected. Your Biden admin and not yet open the issue with the Iranian side. Let's see. Iran has distanced itself from the compliance on a number of fronts. I mean, Jesus. Again, what Iran was proposing seemed pretty fucking reasonable. Having a EU, somebody from, the European Union, independent party, separate from Iran and not connected to the U.S., come in and be an arbiter or a mediator, basically, and figure out the best path going forward to get both parties back where they need to be. And then Iran said they would bring their enrichment levels back down to when they were in compliance when U.S. illegally broke out of this deal, to those levels if the U.S. removes those disastrous, inhumane, and illegal sanctions on the country. I mean, that's pretty fucking decent. And frankly, I could give two shits at this point if Iran was developing nuclear weapons. The only reason they would be doing so is to protect themselves, protect their fellow citizens from a U.S. attack, a U.S. invasion. Because if they were able to get their hands on a nuclear weapon, I think the U.S. would definitely take at least a little bit longer pause before trying to start a war with that country, because obviously that would be hugely disastrous. It'd more or less be probably World War III at that point. So again, it's the U.S. being the belligerent, ridiculous, completely unreasonable ones, and it's not surprising. I hope the Biden admin has a change of heart and gets back into the JCPOA. I'm not holding my breath at this point. We'll see. Leave your comments down below. Like the video if you like the damn video. Subscribe for more content. All power to the people. Peace.